Guys, I'm here with people from all over the nation. I've got Logan, who is from San Antonio. Anton, you want us to tell them where you're at? You're in D.C., Washington, D.C., incognito. And then we got Jorie, who's in Miami, but invests in the Midwest. We're from all over the country. Really hard times. Really hard times are here, it appears. But everybody here is in the trenches every day, and we want to kind of talk about what we're doing in our own business. And I've got an announcement that came out today, right before this happened. It kind of rocked my world. We'll go one at a time. Logan, what are some things that you're seeing on your day-to-day operations that are kind of holding you back, or how are you switching things up with the motion in the ocean, with all the waves that are being made?
You know, it's strange, man. You know this about me, but some of you guys don't. So I was in the oil business for a long time before I got in real estate. And I'd gotten in the oil business after a tough time in my life. I didn't have any money. And literally, when I first started getting my paychecks, $4,000 a month, $7,000 a month, $12,000 a month, you know, those kind of paychecks, I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I'll ever get this again. So I started hoarding every nickel. And my wife was talking to me yesterday morning. She's like, how's the business going to do? Because she's not connected on this type of level with these parts of the business. And I said, honey, I've been preparing since 2012 for this day. We're going to be totally fine. We got years ahead of us. Nothing will go wrong. We're going to change the way we operate a little bit, but we've been preparing for this since 2012, since I got in the oil business. She was like, whoa. And I didn't hit me until I said it. It came out of my mouth. Like, holy shit, dude. That's true.
So I will say this about Logan. He is one of the guys. The very first time me and Logan talked, we talked about the amount of debt that's on our company versus how he operates, basically debt-free. I see a lot of people talking about keeping powder dry, but I don't know that anybody actually has as much dry powder as Logan. I mean, we talked about it the other day, and we'll go more in depth of credit lines and liquidity and all that stuff that Logan has implemented. And then, I mean, Logan's skill set is cleaning up dirty title. So a deal that doesn't close or doesn't get across the finish line because it doesn't have, because there's airship issues, because they don't have a right of way, all that stuff is the stuff that Logan jumps on. So he's operating in a completely different facet than a lot of other investors. Jorie, I met you at Wholesaling Houses Elite last year in Dallas.
Yeah.
We hit it off from the jump. He looks just like Chris Rock. I don't know if he liked hearing that or not. Maybe not right now. But in real life, you will think this guy is Chris Rock 100%. We hit it off. He does lease options. He does contract for deed, I think. I'm not sure. You'll have to clear me up on that. But it operates in the Midwest, does it all virtually from Miami. Jorie, what are some things that you're seeing on your side? How's your business shaking up right now?
Got it. So, just like Logan, I've been waiting for this day to happen because I got into the business in like 07, 08. So I've been through one of these recessions, market corrections before. It kind of hit kind of sudden because I guess with the coronavirus, it just came out of nowhere. So, we're not sitting on as much cash today as I would like to have, but we have stuff in the works. But most of our business is seller financing, right? So, I don't have a lot of rentals. I don't have a lot of overhead, a lot of maintenance. 90% of our business are seller finance notes that we do land contracts. Like Corey said, that's contract for deed. At the moment, I'm not going to say that nothing's been affected. But we're running appointments daily. My buyers are still calling me daily. I haven't had anyone call and say, hey, I can't close the deal. I'm actually being held up by title companies right now. My title company in PA, their servers got malware virus. So it wasn't coronavirus that slowed us down. Their servers are down right now because of the malware virus. So I haven't really seen things slow down or halt yet. I've had, a private money guy or two say, hey, I'm kind of waiting to see what's going to happen. You don't like to hear that. But in the big picture of things, I know how to navigate these waters. It's just uncertainty is what people don't like. Right? As long as there's uncertainty of what the next step is, you will see a little bit of hesitant, a little bit of people on the sidelines. As soon as we get past what the next step is, there's tons of money on the sidelines. We all know that.
You had a really interesting point. I don't want to cut you off, but I have to say the uncertainty thing. But one thing that we're looking at, me and one of my partners here, there are 4 of us in this office, we're looking at what is uncertainty and is this a good deal now or not? And we're kind of looking at this stuff saying, dude, that's a $100,000 house. last week is $100,000 house. Right now, it's probably still a $100,000 house, but people are willing to change their pricing, as crazy as it sounds right now, to $50,000. I've had people talk about it. Literally, we're supposed to close soon, and they're saying, "Are you still going to close?" Oh my God, the realtor's calling, freaking out, and I'm like, "Yep, I know we're supposed to close in 2 weeks for $100,000, but I'll tell you what, you come to my office tomorrow and you get your $65,000 check, and we'll be done with it." And they're so anxious to make it more certain. I know it's certain. This is a good house. It's a good deal. Yeah, all day long, whether it's this week or next month or next year, it's a good house. So for me, I feel like I know the value. It's not uncertain. But
yeah,
I went to the TD Ameritrade office yesterday. I'm like buying. Well, I got locked out of my account. Something got messed up. I had to drive over there because it's a 2-hour wait time. And when I got there, all these people were in there getting checks. They were signing off checks, pulling money out of their account. And the guy was like, "What can I help you with? We don't have time to write checks." I said, "I'm fucking locked out. I'm trying to buy some more stocks." And everyone looked at me like I was a sociopath. They were drawing their money out at 60 and 70 cents on the dollar, and I'm trying to buy.
Exactly. Well, and what you said is key, though, because I'm not sitting here right now scared about real estate, right? Like, I mean, I know real estate is solid, right? The markets I'm in, I live in Miami. I don't own anything. I'm not in a high-end market. I'm in cash flow, Midwest, lower price markets where a $30,000 house, if it gets hit, it might be worth 25, but it's, it's still going to cash.
Worth 3,000.
It's maybe worth 3,000 tomorrow. So I'm not worried about any deal I have locked up. We still want that deal, right? Some of the deals we're going back and saying, "Hey, look, that deal you want at 50, like you said, 25, or maybe, hey, sell the finance."
What happens when the credit market dries up? People can't get money from banks. How the hell are they going to get a house loan? Well, the rent is $800. You can sell to them at $750 or $800 a month, and they get to buy the house, and they got no credit markets out there, but you're available. Dude, you're still open for business.
Exactly.
Well, guys, let's let Anton introduce himself. Now, sorry, we're in it. Like I'm learning. I'm ready to go, but Anton's sitting in his car. He's got work to do. He wants to guys, Anton, introduce yourself. Your mic's muted. You're doing good. Yesterday when I reached out to you about this, you're at Home Depot. You know what I mean? I'm like, bro, that ain't where anybody's supposed to be. I went to Home Depot yesterday and got supplies to take to my contractors too. But Everybody else is kind of like, if you go on the internet right now, nobody's at Home Depot except whenever you're at Home Depot. Everybody's at fucking Home Depot. It's like stuff's still moving around. What's been your experience so far? What's going on? Got anything to shook up?
Yeah, what's up, y'all? I'm Antoine Campbell. I own a fix and flip company as well as a virtual wholesaling company and a VA staffing company. So what I noticed, like our fix and flip business, things are still going. Just like Jorie said, I invest in Harrisburg, so it's a market that's not really going to be as effective as everybody else's market because of the price point. The houses that we're buying, we underwrote them. If something go wrong, we can refinance out to a company like Finance of America, who's basically lend based on collateral. They don't even care about my credit or anything. So I'm comfortable with that. Now, when you called me yesterday, I was at the Home Depot because, me, I got that mindset, man. We got to get shit done, man. I'm tired of paying these interest payments. I'm trying to get this to them, get it refinanced or get it sold or whatever I got to do to get it done because at the end of the day, the train still must move.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Anton, do you underwrite your deals like you might have to rent them out and see what they're still going to cash flow when you're buying? I see people that, like we're all talking about $30,000 deals. I mean, we're all kind of, the deal that we just put on the board, our most recent deal is an $8,000 trailer on land. I'm trying to figure out, how this could go bad. I just can't find one way. But whenever you're doing this, you're doing Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I mean, you've got to be in a price range that's not, above 100,000 too. I don't see a way that this real estate gets affected in a negative manner. What about your friends that are in the $300,000 price range? Are they reaching out? Are they like freaking out or lenders freaking out? You see anything like that?
Yeah, people down in Washington panicking because a lot of people they start investing a lot in Airbnb, so they take these $400,000 or $500,000 houses that had these $2,500, $3,500 a month mortgage payments and Airbnb them out, to make double what they could make cash flow. And they get slaughtered from cancellations and stuff like that. But up in Pennsylvania, it's not as bad because people got to understand Pennsylvania, what we invest in, it's the capital of Pennsylvania. Harrisburg is the capital of the state. And they got 40,000 government jobs. Even though the government is not open for business right now, a lot of people still teleworking. We have a big big railroad run right through Pennsylvania. You have a lot of manufacturing. Like so much stuff happens up there. Like it literally, the world got to come to an end for that place can
Quit
close up.
telling him, Antoine.
Man, that's why I like talking about it. Because then all my DC friends, they be chasing behind me. I'm at the meetup. I'm like, what the hell you doing here? Oh, I seen you up there. I said, oh, Lord, here we go.
I destroyed Corsicana, Texas that way. I did one time on the internet. I was like, greatest owner finance market on planet Earth. I mean, I can't even keep a bandit sign out 30 minutes there now. Everybody runs behind. Now every deal we do is in one town. It's called Weatherford, Texas. We actually own a house in Weatherford, Texas, but we do no marketing there, but we say we're in Weatherford, Texas every time I'm on the internet. So if I'm talking about Weatherford, Texas on the internet, just know it's fucking fiction. It's not smoke and mirrors. We're really someplace else. Logan, dive into when we talked yesterday, we had a great hour-long conversation in the morning. It was essentially you seen this coming like – I don't want to say that Logan saw this coming before everybody else because I seen a lot of people talking about it on the internet way before I was concerned about it. But Logan went to one of his partners and said, hey, we're paying off all of our credit lines right now. Talk about when you saw that, why you did it, and what you did that for, because I thought it was ingenious. Might be late in the game for somebody like me to try it, but somebody out there is trying to make a decision right now, and I think your insight will help them make that decision.
So, I told you I've been preparing for this when I was in the oil business way before I was really doing real estate. Just it was kind of the mindset, the saving, making cautious decisions, keeping expenses low and all that kind of stuff. And that mindset extrapolated into our real estate business. And one of my partners is a CPA. So he has a lot of that's one of the reasons we really get along a lot, I guess. And one thing I noticed when we were in the oil business in 2014 and 15, that was my last few years there. We started to get all that market pricing pressure and all the companies got hammered and everybody quit paying the $150 a day per diem. It was down to 65. All the overtime, it was cut. Like all these fat things that we had in our business, they were right sizing the business. And it was strange. The business has become right sized because everybody had to be perfect real quick, like quick. And the ones that didn't, they failed. And the ones that did, man, they're still doing pretty all right. So that same kind of mindset's continued. And usually real estate markets are 7, 9, 10 years or whatever. We're way past that. And every couple of months or every quarter we say, oh my God, I can't believe we're having another strong quarter. Like we're 12, 13 years into the cycle now or something like that. It's incredible. So about a year ago, we started taking a bunch of rental houses that had good income, but they'd appreciated so well in the last 4 or 5 years. We can get 10 years worth of rents in profits. If we sell it right now, liquidate, start turning all that stuff around to cash. And then in the last couple of years, we did start opening up credit lines at the local bank. And the interest rate got down so low that we'd have enough cash to satisfy those or cover it. Sometimes we'd go in and out of each one of them, but we do that as part of our business. And then probably the last few months now, we started saying, gosh, it's still happening. Nothing's changed. Well, a few weeks later, we said, okay, guys, this virus stuff is starting to happen overseas. What if it gets here? These are the assets that we must sell to have all of our credit lines paid back, a fair amount of cash back, turnaround back in our account, and enough operating expenses for, 18, 24 months in case we don't make a nickel. Everything keeps going. So it took us about 2 weeks to hammer out the last few deals, get the stuff off the books, get everything paid back. And we're looking around like, holy shit, dude. And so that's one. And yesterday I was like, what should I do? We have a couple contracts that are still coming for purchases, but I wasn't out freaking out. I just said, man, the stock market, it's all red arrows over there. So that's why we all started to open up our computer. Let's look for some stocks right now. So we're doing some of that stuff like that. Mitch Stevens came into the office because he offices right down the street from us. So him and Mike and one of their other partners, Patrick, they all came in. They're like, all right, guys, so what are y'all going to do? And Mitch has been through a couple booms and busts. And it's funny, man, we're all kind of like working sort of in the same mindset. His model is different than ours. So it's different because he's got a ton of the wrap private money notes. But at the end of the day, we both had a similar train of thought. And he was planning, how far can we go? 12 months, 24 months on cash if we don't make a single payment or get a single payment. And everybody's thinking the same thing. Now, we know that we're going to make more than a single dollar in the next 12 or 24 months, but we got a lot of runway ahead of us.
Well, and that's the thing. Like when we look at where we're at in our cash position, we don't like it. We don't like it at all. simply because we've got refis going through that's going to put cash in the bank, and we hadn't cleared that hurdle yet. And we look at our credit lines and we're wondering, do we still have those credit lines? Like, we wanted to draw that $500,000 right now to get liquidity in the bank. Could we do it?
I wonder right now, like, even though we're pretty credit worthy, got a great track record, all this kind of stuff, I wonder if I go there tomorrow and try to pull a big chunk, are they going to cut it?
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. We got another lender that loaned us out money on a credit line. And I mean, the bank's already chirping, so it's like, okay, you've got all of this noise in the market space. So when you talked about what uncertainty was, it's like, will I have capital if I need it to go buy something that I think is a deal? Jorie, you went through this. You already went through one bus cycle. How long of a lag? I asked Chris Rude this 30 minutes ago. From the time the first announcement hit the deck, how far out before the deal started flowing? Because it takes a long time. I think most people miss this. Real estate isn't a quick turn. If everybody defaults today, the bank's got to take that inventory back. And then they've got to make a decision whether they rent it or liquidate it. They've got to sort through that inventory and figure out, okay, what's our best disposition on all of this, all these properties that we take back? How long before was it from the time that the shit hit the fan until there was actually good deals to be had? And what did you employ in that time period? Because I feel like for me, it's like, well, I want to think that there's deals on the horizon, but I don't think they're going to show up in like 30 minutes. You know what I mean? I don't even think they're going to be there in 30 days. Other than using the noise that we all hear in our seller's living room, what can we do in between then and now to kind of prepare for it?
Yeah, and that's kind of the different thing right now. I don't think the real estate market is in the situation it was in, let's say, 2007, right? If we have a long time of unemployment and this goes on for a long time, of course we're going to be in a situation where we start seeing some of this hit. But I think the real estate market itself is strong, right? So in 07, 08, I think things started to go down around the middle of 07, beginning was, and by 09, 09, 010, the deals were flowing left and right. So you probably saw like about 6 months to 12 months where the stock market was falling off a cliff and nobody knew what to do. And then, all the foreclosures were showing up there on the market, and it was just like buying season like crazy. There's been so many deals still. We've been finding deals. Everybody on this call has been finding deals consistently, right? So I don't think guys like us are going to run out of finding deals. If anything, there's going to be more deals now, at a higher pace rather quickly. So I don't think the deals is an issue. The credit line thing, though, is something that I'm interested in, because if the market does, crash or whatever happens, right? You're gonna have the first probably 2 years where the guys who have cash are gonna buy like crazy, right? The guys, everyone who has any cash, buy like crazy. It's that middle part where the guys who had cash run out of cash, and those guys, who have the real cash, you've been sitting there waiting, right? When the stuff just halts, and then those guys pick up stuff for dirt cheap, right? So before, that was like 2011, 12. 13. This is like 5 years after the market crash, where like the normal guys ran out of money, right? This is when the hedge funds came in and your big time investors came in and started buying up everything dirt cheap because they had the long money, right? Because everybody who had lines, the banks called their credit line, the banks called their loans. Those guys were scrambling, but the guys who were sitting on large lumps of cash, they waited 2, 3, 4 years and they bought everything.
I'm gonna tell you something that's really interesting. So sorry to interrupt, but so this is like a longer strategy, and it wasn't planned out. Like, it didn't happen this way, but there's a big portfolio, about 20 houses that we're able to buy when the market was down, $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 houses, put about 10 or 15 into repairs. This is back in 2013, 14 range, and got a bunch of tenants in there. So the whole investment in the portfolio was a couple $100,000, not near as bad as you would think. After you buy 30, you sell 10 of them to make a little money, and then you got the remaining 20, you got some money for repairs. You're only in it for $250,000, $300,000 for 20 houses. These rentals are doing good. Well, the rent rates start to go up a little bit, and it's a real stable portfolio, and the appreciation starts to skyrocket. So you're in it for $200,000, $300,000. All of a sudden, it's worth $2 million by 2019. So you look at this portfolio and say, damn, this is good. So what do? Do I sell it and take all this cash right now? Or we say, maybe let's sell it, convert all these rentals into seller finance notes. And now all of a sudden we have the same income, but we don't have any of the expenses. It's a little more stabilized. We just brought in $200,000 to $300,000 worth of dollars in down payments. That went right back in the bank, more cash. We don't have any more expenses. We don't have any more repairs. And now it's just money coming in. And if these people screw up, which I don't want them to, I want them to make the payments. I want it to stay stable. If they do, we'll happen to get an asset back that's worth a ton of money. But otherwise, so it's kind of a long strategy. It was really interesting after working through an 8-year period, 7-year period. I look at that and say, market's about to go down. Now we got all that cash from down payments, $200,000-300,000. Why don't you just take that and you buy yourself another 20 houses, you clean them up, you load them with tenants, you let them sit. As the market matures in 6, 7, 8 years, you sell or finance them again for another $4 million.
Mm-hmm.
What's your reason for the seller finance? Are you avoiding, having to give up a big portion of that to Uncle Sam?
I'm normally not worried about that. Usually, if I can get some tax, I don't usually let the tax implication impact my deal. If it's a good deal, it's a good deal, and I'm going to do it. I might have to pay some taxes, fine. But the big deal is the property taxes. When that portfolio originated back in that 12, 13, 14 range, literally most of these houses were $800 a month, $800 a year in property taxes. Now some of those suckers are several thousand, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $4,000. So that starts to creep up. Once you hit 2017, 18, the rents didn't go up anymore. So expenses started to creep up, and the yield just starts to shrink. And I look at all this equity, and I say, yeah, it's a good return on our original investment on our basis. But with this amount of money, I could do this differently. I could suck a bunch of cash out of it by down payments, turn it around to monthly installments, and my yield goes up. My monthly payments go up, and I don't have any of these expenses. So I get to put more in the pocket.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I've been going 90% seller financing, right? So when whatever happens now, I'm not so much worried about rental. I have like 3 rental properties right now out of my whole portfolio. They're paid for, right? With seller financing, I can sleep better at night because I know what my number is coming in, my principal and interest, right? I already have my appreciation built into my deals, right? As long as it goes through the whole process, and I don't have to have a huge lump sum of cash reserves if I had 100 rentals. So that's been my strategy for the last 2 years, is to convert mostly everything into seller financing deals.
Anton, have you changed up your marketing during this? Like right now, I know that you've got a VA, like you got like a VA academy. You teach people how to train VAs.
Right.
Have you had to change anything up? Are they impacted where they're at right now? Is there weird pressures that people wouldn't know about? Because I know we hired some VAs just recently. I mean, we've hired them over time, off and on, but then they kind of got impacted by Corona where they were at and they couldn't work. And so we had to hire some more. Has that been happening on the backside of your business? Have you had to switch up some of your marketing, some of your messages, some of your strategies to generate new leads during this time?
Yeah, so it's a 2-part question answer. So a lot of people that we get VAs for, most of them are newbies, right? So they panic because of the things they see on Facebook. So for the past 3 days, people been letting their VAs go. Our model is different. We're not financially affected by that because we just make a fee on the front end, and then they manage their VAs on the back end. But what's concerning to me is that they don't even know the results that's coming down in the future, why they stopped their marketing. So like, say for example, this blows over and we back in business, July, August. Now you got to restart that momentum, right? To get all these leads, to get people interested in the offer and all that. And most people are going to struggle at that because it's a momentum game, real estate, in my opinion. So for us, everything's been still going on the up and up. We've been using SMS. We've been cold calling, and we've been very serious about the laws. Like some states, when they shut it down, you're not allowed to telemarket. So we've been really paying attention to that type of stuff and making sure we're in compliance. So no one be trying to give us a big fat lawsuit. But as far as like just overall like marketing, we've actually doubled down on marketing. So we usually spend between $50 and $100 a day in credits at 2 cents a SMS. So we've been spending almost $200 a day, and we've been doubling the amount of leads because we notice a lot of people stop marketing towards these sellers because of what's going on. Everybody want to be stuck on Facebook and worry about what's going on, and we actually generate more leads. Even if we can't close the sellers, at least if we have a bunch of leads in our pipeline when it's time for a title company to start back. Because right now, yesterday in Harrisburg, they shut down the MLK building, which is the building that you use to get a HUD statement. So no title company can't do a deal without a HUD statement. So we don't know how long that's going to last. That's indefinitely. So we're just going to keep marketing. I got money set to the side. I'm not happy in the cash position we are in because at the time we was trying to start building our cash reserves. But I'm confident that things will get better. So we're gonna keep marketing and keep pushing forward and just keep bringing in leads, right? So we can just follow up to people and see if they're ready to sign. If they decide to sign now, we just let them know, hey, as soon as the government open back up for business, we can move forward with closing. But we're still trying to lock up contracts.
Well, that's the same thing that we've been wondering about is how title companies are going to be affected as this stuff keeps going. I mean, it's like every day, we all have. I just wish they shut up on. I wish the president would quit talking on the news every damn day.
Please.
Like, the stock market was up 1,000 points. Like, it goes on there, and I bet it's down 3,000 right now. I'm like, dude, just like calm down. Like, ain't nobody need to even just let's go back to pretending like we ain't got no problems. It's like, we get our news from Facebook statuses anyway. So like.
Another thing me and our partners were talking about earlier, what do you do when you're trying to right size your business and try to manage through this stuff? And the first thing one of my other partners said is turn the freaking news off, dude. The news is changing a little bit every single day, but we're not. We're still kind of just going like that. Just makes you do a bunch of fear-based knee-jerk actions.
I'll give you an example, okay? And this is where I mean, it's like if you're plugged in, you're plugged in. If you're not plugged in, you're not plugged in. The status comes out. Trump just halted all evictions. Blah 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 blah. All evictions and foreclosures. So, like every time I see something that Trump says, I got to go listen to what Trump said because Trump says and Trump and flex are two completely different things. Like there's a literal meaning and then there's what he tried to say. You know what I mean? It's like the man just says some shit. So I go listen to it. And he mentioned HUD and Freddie and Fannie and he brought up Ben Carson. And I'm like, well, he didn't say all evictions or foreclosures. He said HUD evictions and foreclosures. So we're now literally waiting on, I mean, I've got it right here. Evictions may be only about homeowners with HUD or Fannie or Freddie, not tenants. And we're getting this from attorneys because we're waiting for them to read whatever executive order or whatever signed so that we can then type that into an email and communicate it to our tenants and say, hey, bro, yeah, he said that. That's how it's about to affect your life because that might not apply to you if you're not directly affected by the coronavirus. If you are still working and still able to pay, we advise you to pay. Now, from those shockwaves, I reached out to almost all of our private money lenders. I mean, almost instantly. We reached out to them last week to judge how they were feeling. You know what? How do you feel about this? How do you feel about that? Like your money's not in the stock market, so you got to feel pretty good. Here's what we see happening as long as this big, massive shit doesn't happen that just happened today where they come out and say something about evictions. We feel like we're going to be fine in our rental portfolio. It happened today. Call up lender. Can we have a 90-day forbearance? What we're basically asking our lenders for right now, I mean, people don't think about it this way. They don't realize what they ask for it when they ask for it. If we ask our lenders to not make us pay monthly payments for the next 3 months, that's a $300,000 loan that we got to pay back at some point in time. Most people don't get that. They just think, oh, well, I'm going to get to collect this cash flow for the next 3 months, and I'm going to be, our cash position is going to be unbelievable, blah, 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 blah. That might be true. If our tenants pay, we might end up with extra cash reserves, but all we got to do is we got to go pay that back to our lenders as soon as we can. It will improve our cash position for the short term as it goes like this. But that money's got to go into an account that we can't go start remodeling apartments with that money. We can't go start putting that into air conditioners. We can't take that money and put in new paving outside. That's all got to go back to the lenders as soon as we can get it back to the lenders. But if it will help us weather a storm where we might have to go down to a 50% occupancy, then that punt will get kicked down the line. But I hope it doesn't come to that. I hope we're able to retain tenants. I hope that the tenants that are affected, we can offer them assistance. But if you're just being a jackass and not paying rent because the president comes out and says, yeah, we're going to halt evictions, and you don't understand the difference between HUD and fucking my mobile home park right down the road, you got a rude awakening coming, son. But Guys, talk about how some of those things on a day-to-day. Anton, you've got an event coming up. It's got to be a fucking shit show on that side of it, because not only do you have all these personalities that, are about to be speaking in front of people that are like, I don't know if I'll be able to make it. I don't know. You know what I mean? That are probably all over the fucking place. But then you got the people who've already paid. You got all of that. It's like, look, we're not going to not have the event. We just might have to pause this son of a bitch until July. So we're not issuing refunds until we don't have the event. But getting people to understand that's probably just an extra layer of stress. So talk about that a little bit. Talk about your event, guys.
Yeah. So I'm having an event out here in DC area. It's the biggest event that the DC area has ever seen as far as bringing non-guru speakers to town without pitching and selling. So we did a good job of getting the speakers on board. We did a good job of planning it, and then all of a sudden this fucking virus came out of nowhere and messed everything up. But I used to work in a hotel where we seen these type of things going where people had to cancel events. So it gave me kind of insider edge to make this judgment call. But I personally, the morning before we made the announcement, I knew I was going to cancel the event 3 days before I did. But I still kept pushing and promoting it, because you still got to play the field. You still got to let people know you're not weak and you're a leader. We knew that weekend we was going to cancel the event. I mean, not cancel it, postpone the event. I called all my speakers up personally and made it more intimate to say, hey, this is what we plan on doing. We're shooting for June or July. Hopefully you're still on board. If you need anything, just let me know. And, by doing that, that really helped me out a whole lot, because wouldn't you rather someone call you personally on the phone and let you know what's going on before you say it all on Facebook and now you don't even know what it is? I'd rather hear something from the horse's mouth. And then we turn around and we contact our people who paid first. Because what I realized in my life, the only people who talk shit is the people who don't never put their money up for nothing. So we contacted all the people who paid first, 5 hours before I made that announcement on Facebook. And they was all cool with it. Everybody seen it coming. And then we put it out there for the public. So if anybody wanted to criticize, all the bases was covered. We called all our sponsors, say, hey, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Matter of fact, as a courtesy, I'm going to continue to promote your brand. I'm going to do webinars. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that until we identify a date, because we promise that we'll deliver you an audience, and I'm going to be my man, my word, and do that. And once we did all that, it was a smooth transition. We actually add an extra date onto the event as a courtesy, and we're going to add 5 more additional speakers, just because I believe in customer service over anything.
Well, and that's, I had events on the board. I was supposed to go to Cincinnati last weekend, I think, and then I postponed it to this weekend, but the government stepped in and said you can't do that. So, I mean, we're off the hook there. Eventbrite emailed me out and said, hey, we're not going to give you any payouts, no payouts.
They did the same thing to me too.
Not giving you any payouts until, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, okay, so I don't have the money. If they want to get the money back, they can go, request the money back from Eventbrite. But I thought to myself during all of this, it's like, man, I'm glad that whenever people wanted me to do that I didn't start getting a bunch of income from that side of the business, because if it was, I mean, man, I would be 10 times more stressed out now than ever. I've seen a lot of people that don't know how to, it's like, man, I'm like, I don't know what's next. I have no idea what's next, but I know I got fires I got to put out right here, right now. And if I focused on those, maybe I don't have my 3-year plan in place anymore, because I can't project that far. But I can at least look 90 days down the road and make decisions based on the day on where I want to be in 90 days. And shortening that vision was hard for me. I was like, man, I want to think long. Like we're passing up deals right now. It's like, not because we don't want to go after the deal, but because we don't know if we'll be able to source the capital to get it. Yesterday, I get a call from a guy in Seattle. I think I can put together $1.5 million. I'm like, all right, you know what I mean? Like, we're back on. Like, let's go. You know what I mean? It's like those things. It's so fluid. I'm kind of sad that more people aren't out here like we are right now, talking about the day in and day out about how it changes so rapidly, and what you do on a daily basis to make it to where it's like, hey, I didn't know this was going to happen yesterday. I didn't know that before we were going to do this, that they were going to come out and talk shit about evictions. But then, I had probably 20 phone calls to make before we got on here. Got all that done. As soon as we get off of here, I'm going to go back to making those phone calls. And that's just the environment that we're in right now. Jorie, how many properties do you have in your inventory right now? And right now, one of the biggest blessings for our business, we lost 42 people in December evictions. We had to turn those 42 units over. That's about a $3,000 a pop. Bang, 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 bang. By the time you factor in vacancy loss and everything. So we have all that inventory. It's leasing up we did 2 leases yesterday. I mean, it's flying off the shelf. It's not overall like the noise is affecting our business, but the actual business is still ginning. How's it going with your inventory? You still having people interested in buying houses? Are you still, getting qualified buyers through the door? Are you going to have to switch up some of that inventory to maybe rent it out? What are you looking at? Like, how are you underwriting that right now?
Our inventory, I mean, my buyers are still waiting to close right now. They're ready to go, right? That's my cash buyers from the cash deals and wholesale. My seller financing buyers, I got probably 4 of them right now waiting on us. They got down payments in hand, contracts. They haven't called us to back out. They're ready to go. I got investors calling who want more deals. I have a high demand from buyers right now who need more deals that we can't even source to them right now. I haven't seen anything slow down in that. Our inventory that we're holding right now, I think we have 2 homes that we own that aren't occupied, and those are we have 2 deals that we're going to hotel. I never wholesale anyway. I always either do seller financing or just wholesale it out. But we have 2 hotel deals. But just like anything I do, those hotel deals I can easily convert into a seller financing deal, right? And that's what we're actually doing right now. We said skip putting them on the market and listing them. We're just going to sell them to a seller financing end buyer because I know I have those right now in our database that'll buy the deal right now. So we haven't been hit, really much at all by as far as our end buyers, our buyers and stuff like that. It's still moving along good. I mean, I'm getting texts right now from buyers who are saying, hey, we're ready to go.
I think it's really interesting since you're doing a lot of the seller financing stuff. The kind of buyer that's buying those kind of properties are normally pretty good buyers, pretty good savers, pretty good workers. They just don't fit the typical credit metric for the big banks. And to be honest with you, the guys that are going to get the FHA loan that only have to put 3% down, they may not actually be a better buyer than the ones that you're selling to. So your buyer, I would bet, is a lot less affected by this because they've already saved up the $10, $20, or $30,000. They've been working for years to save this. And once they make that down payment and buy that house, I think they're more able to pay their card and make their monthly payment because their program, they're savers. Once they get that down payment done and they're paying your monthly payment to you, they're still saving because that's in their blood. That's the kind of person they are a lot of times. So I think you probably have some better quality paper, even though the asset's probably different than like the $300,000 house in the new subdivision that a lot of people call grade A paper. Surprising, I think another guy who does a whole bunch of seller finance stuff here, and I look at his and say, man, you probably have better gradable paper than people realize because you're your borrower.
Yeah, we underwrite them. I mean, we're doing what I call common sense underwriting, right? I don't care about credit score, like the FICO score, right? I want to look at, your income to the debt to the payment, and do you have any large credit factors that hit in the last few years, right? Most people don't. Most people have that down payment. They just can't get a loan from a bank because they're not a 620 or 640, because the FICO score. So, we have a mixture too. I'd say about 70% of our buyers are other investors. Again, a lot of these houses are under $45,000, $50,000. You can't go to a bank to get a loan for that, right? You can't go to a bank and get a loan for a $40,000 house, right? So we fill a void where it's like, look, I can seller finance this deal to you for $40,000, with 1% down, and these are good, solid buyers. So even if we do hit the recession right now and banks freeze their credit, my model becomes even more popular. This is actually a recession model, is what we've been doing the whole time.
Donnavan showed up. Now he's just walking around. The Drake of real estate is here, guys. He's walking through his office. You got Corona yet, Donnavan? You're about the only one on this stream that can survive.
What's up, Drizzy Drake?
What's good? What's up, Antoine?
What's up, bro?
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Sorry, I'm late. The world is apparently ending. So I had to.
Dude, what's your business like right now? You broke it down for us at the mastermind. Like you got a large scale operation, it would appear, but overhead wise, what are you doing? Are you shaving some overhead? You continuing on? You have a lot of buyers getting cold feet. How's it working?
Yeah, I mean, I got quite a bit of flip. Like I got 5 flips that, 2 2 buyers backed out, but immediately we put it back on the market, and immediately we found new buyers. Open Door pulled out of all of our deals that we were selling to them. So apparently purchase still buying. Yeah.
Do they buy a lot of stuff from y'all?
You said what?
Do they buy a lot of stuff from y'all?
Yeah, I mean, they like the 85 builds and above. So I mean, I sell them deals here and there if we can make it work. So it's a little bit better than wholesaling. So yeah, that's been working for me for like a year or so. But yeah, I've never seen them do that. But
What happened?
you can't put all your eggs in one basket.
Terminations or what?
Yeah, they're just like, hey man, sorry, like we pulled out, we offered too high, and it was it. And then all the other
period or no option?
What's up?
Was there an option period or no option?
Yeah, they do options.
So check this out. The iBuyers, y'all want to talk about something that we probably haven't really covered, but you got to think about this. They were already on shaky ground anyways. They were betting on appreciation 100%. And now this happens. If there's anybody that's going to get wiped off the planet, it's the iBuyers. Their business model ain't set up for this at all.
But yeah, I mean, I got quite a bit overhead. I'm spending like 83 grand is our break even. So I mean, with commission, yeah, a month. So with commissions and everything, we got to do at least 110-ish just to break even. So yeah, I mean, got up today, follow God's plan, posted a couple ads, and we're going to start bringing some cold callers in on commission, so we can pause our VAs and stuff like that. So a little bit less risky. So that's definitely going to be in place before the end of the week, just so we can, triple down on marketing, help some homeowners out around the country, and keep rolling without extensive overhead. And hey, if it works, it works. We keep that in our business model and see how it goes. I mean, I was raised all commission door-to-door sales, and I was hiring people, all commission door-to-door. I was convincing people to go knock doors for years for all commission. So it's just like I kind of spoiled my team now. Everybody's making draw and salary and stuff like that. Where you got to go back to a model that's less risky. So you got to prepare for worst case scenario and stuff.
So our overhead is relatively low. And Donnavan, before you got here, we were talking about what I saw and probably what Corey saw back in the oil business when all that market fell apart back in 2014 or 15, whatever, maybe 16 it was. And we realized all the companies that could tighten themselves up and right size real quick survive. So when you mentioned there's 80-something thousand in monthly overhead, how much of that do you think you can adjust down to? How much of that do you think you can cut out in a 30-day window?
We got a smaller office. Like if you call me a year ago, we had 42 in-house people. And just in November, I made a goal. It's like, all right, we're going to slim this down to less than 10 people, which is like a blessing in disguise that, we just got like our king closers now. So our overhead's not as high on office expenses and stuff like that. It's mostly just the VAs, the labor costs with them, because we got so many of them. So, they're tripping out just because all their other clients, already send their cancellations and stuff like that. So what I see is just opportunity, less people calling, less people talking to these people. So as long as we push through and find a way to stay slim and less risky, we're going to be able to capitalize.
When I saw VAs being hired on, early hearing this maybe 3-4 years ago, people were like, they're $1.50 an hour. Now I hear they're making like $7 or $8 an hour.
Yeah.
What are you paying hourly right now?
Well, we have 3 different call centers that we use. So we have Asia, they're pretty cheap. I think they're like $4. And the Egyptians pay them like $5.50. Colombia, it's about $5.50. So Egyptians and Colombia, they're both bilingual. So we just filter our list through all the call centers.
Well, let me ask you this. If those people are getting cut from their clients immediately, which probably they are, do you think they'll start doing services for $2 an hour so we can still have work?
I mean, I don't know, man. I think, I've had relationships with these people for, a year and a half now, and it's just never changed. I never cared to, just because we're making so much money. Right. It didn't really matter. I'd prefer to pay more so we can have quality, people on the phones and people to train them and retain and hire, so we don't have to think about it. That's just not part of my business model to.
Hey guys, I want to pay y'all more, and I've proven in the last few years that I've done that because I do that to my people. But then I also say, now that times are tough, I'm going to take some of the risk, and I want you to share some of the risk so we can keep doing this. I'll say, pay you, but you got to give me a better deal so we can keep going. I'm just curious. I don't know if it works, but I just thought that.
Well, the way I see it is just like you got to prepare for worst case scenarios. Obviously, if everything shuts down, banks shut down. I mean, banks run out of money or whatever. Like whenever the last recession happened or whatever, no income comes in for 90 days. That's like almost 300 grand just out the window, just off cost. You got to adjust. You got to adapt, or you'll die. Yeah, I can float it out, but like nobody in their right mind is just going to throw 300 grand out the window and just call it a day. So.
Donnie, honestly, I think the best thing about your business, because Donnie started at the same time. We both started 2015. I think the best thing about it is if you turned it off tomorrow, and just walked away and said, hey, guys, we'll get back to this at a later date. Like, this is too much right now. I'm gonna turn it off for 3 months. We'll revisit. I mean, you can cut all your overhead. It'll go to zero.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we have like 25,000 leads in Podio, obviously we can just follow up with, but I think one of the greatest opportunities is finding that fresh person with the new situation. So, I'm adjusting my business plan a little bit, this upcoming week where, it's going to be all Americans, all cold callers, no salaries, no draws, just all commission. So when this deal's actually closed, there's just no risk for me. So. But yeah, it's definitely a conversation I've had. I already gave them a heads up. It's like, hey, look, we'll revisit on Thursday. We'll see what happens with the market. I'm hoping like the Corona stuff our Asians are pretty. I mean, they got wiped out like last week, anyways. Everybody's working from home. So it's just the quality has been shit over there, anyways, just because of the Corona. That's where it broke out. I don't know. And Tony, Antoine, you have Asian cold callers. I'm sure you're seeing the same thing over there, right?
Yeah, so the beautiful thing about me, my business is run completely with VA, so everybody's already quarantined anyway. They work from home, so it's not like they work from a call center. So what we're saying is, like I said earlier, a lot of our clients are pulling out, just being conservative, and not using VAs, or they just stop marketing. Period, and I think that's reckless. I think you continue to market if you got enough money to float yourself. I think you continue to push forward, and like you say, just cut back on the fat and run a lean operation. I always wanted to run a lean operation because my other business I had a lot of overhead. I was just telling my partner right here in the truck, man. He was asking me how much you was making in your last business. I said, man, I made a lot of money, but I spent a lot of money too. Yep. So when I decided to do real estate and I came across VAs, I said, I'm gonna run this lean operation. So when times like this come along, I'm able to guarantee, say, hey, I can continue to let you work for me, but there's some other things that you will have to do to justify your pay being the same pay. So that's what I'm at with.
Yeah, my whole company is commission based, and Corey knows we're very, very lean, for this exact reason, because I came through a recession. I've always just stayed lean because of that. So that's a positive where I'm not sitting here and trying to figure out how to move some stuff around. We've always been commission based.
That's good.
Mean, because I'm too stupid. I just do all the work. It's like I'm
like you, Corey. I do everything.
I know. I was telling my girl, I was like, look, babe, worst possible thing that can ever happen is I just get on the phone with my damn self. Get on the phone with my damn self with buyers. That's how I started. I have that skill set. We all have that skill set. So, but it's more than just me. I run a big company. I don't think of my personal expenses and overhead or the company. I think of my employees, and their income, but tough times, we had a conversation. It's just like, hey, look, I care about you guys. Let's prepare for worst case scenario. And if deals don't close, it is what it is. You just got to hang on to the get down while everybody gets wiped out, and we'll be in the forefront while everybody else quits. So we're pretty much all on the same page.
And that's it. Like I get paid $1,300 a month from this company. I get paid $1,350 a month. And then I got a house that has a mortgage on it that I get to live in. So if like I really I could take the load off the company right now and go down to $0 a month from the company and do 2 webinars a month. You know what I mean? For my own personal income, to supplement my own personal income, hook people up with value at a $7 webinar. It's a steal. And then just rock along like that. Like that's the things I think about from my own personal side. And then also go out and close our own deals. What I worry about with our guys is, Spoon's got 4 kids at home, a wife. They now have a confirmed case in his city. I got to send him in and out. You know what I mean? We've got to look at these properties. We can look at it on video and everything else, but eventually we're going to have to walk them because we're buying them ourselves. You know what I mean? This isn't we're not holding that sense. We're going to buy it. We're going to look at the owner finance strategy. We're going to underwrite it as a rental. We're going to see where we're going to end up. We're going to try to wholesale it first, but I'm looking at it and I'm like, man, we had meetings. Hey guys, here's how we need to do it. You don't need to interact with sellers at all. You can stay away from them, but we still got to look at the house, got to peek in it somehow before we'll actually be able to close. We can contract anything, but before we're going to agree to close on anything at all, we're going to need to see it. So we shook that up. Logan, your marketing, I mean, I don't think a lot has changed from you from a marketing standpoint. I mean, what if they lock you out of the courthouse? What if you can't do abstract title? What are you going to do? How are you going to survive?
I'll tell you our marketing is on Facebook. We have relationships locally, and we're doing the deals that nobody wants to do, like you're talking about. So people, if this thing takes us down for a couple years maybe and the market gets weak, people still remember that they need to call us because they're still going to have these same problems, and we're still going to do all that free stuff on Facebook. So our marketing probably won't change much. We also do a lot of outbound calls to tax delinquents and owners, multiple owners on property accounts. That's all free. We'll still do it all the same. That won't change now. We can't get in the courthouse. We still have our online title searches. We can't do quite as many deals in the small cities because you got to go to some of the courthouses. All the online stuff, we'll still keep doing it. Just because we can't record a deed doesn't mean we can't get it and stick it in the safe. That's ours. If we can't record it, nobody else can record a deed on that property either, so we can't get backdoored. So we'll just stick it in the safe, and once they open that courthouse, we're gonna be over with a pile.
I love that Logan's like, yeah, if this is 2 years, fuck it, we're still gonna be here. Everybody else is like, I got 4 months max. Like, I'm out. I won't be here. I'll be back on a drilling rig.
Well, those might not be running right now, dude.
What, yeah. Dude? That's so funny, man. A lot of our marketing. We do text marketing now. We still have that. Just hired. The worst part about this, we just hired 2 girls for our office. One of them still working part-time. She does our texting, our cold calling, and everything else. But we're getting so much more efficient at leasing because of these hires. And then we hired a loan officer to do the hard money lending stuff that we're going to have the opportunity to do. Hopefully still we'll have the opportunity to do us through this. I spoke to them yesterday. They said, yeah, everything still goes. So, hopefully all that works out. But the worst part is for me is looking at these people that rely on a paycheck and knowing that you just hired them and going, well, we create a lot of capital through the hotel model that floats us. If we want to hire more people, we get that instant money in the bank through buying and selling real estate that gives us the confidence to go higher when we're about to be remodeling 73 doors. When we're remodeling 73 doors, they are not an asset. Those are a liability. So I look at the hotel side of the business and I'm like, man, I hope our new hard money lending generates enough deal flow that that pays for itself. I hope that some of these webinars and things that we're doing creates enough capital that I don't have to take a paycheck from the company, that I can give it to the girl that we just hired for $9 an hour, so we can keep her on. Because right now, I mean, Spoon's got her. She's calling all old leads for tenants. I mean, she got 10 applications the other day. 10 applications was $250. If she can do that every day, that'll pay for her. That'll pay her salary, no problem. Guys, Anton, you're still doing marketing. You're doing everything else. Are you looking to do anything new? Looking to learn any new strategies? Are you looking to become a landlord? Are you looking to reach out to somebody like Jorie and do some seller finance? Are you looking at anything new in case some of these deals don't sell?
Definitely. The plan was I became a wholesaler by accident. The plan was always to be a commercial investor, but when I got into real estate, I realized that you needed liquidity. So I said, okay, let me go to the easy part. What I thought was the easy part was residential, and start wholesaling and running fix and flippings. And now, before this even transpired, I was in the background making that transition to multifamily. So that's my number one goal, and it's still gonna be my number one goal, is to be a commercial investor, to create extra buckets of income to weather storms like this.
One thing I think is really interesting about every single person on this call right now, you've done cold calls yourself, you closed deals yourself, you've been a one-man show probably, and everybody in here is bright. They work very, very hard. That will never change. So you might have trouble in the business, or I might, or you might, or whoever, but you've gotten past the point of having to have a job. You will always be able to support yourself because you're a hustler, you can cut deals, and you're creative. So that part is like a benchmark. That's a baseline that's already back there. We're just talking about how to keep this bigger business and grow this bigger business. But you're never, none of us are going to go hungry. And I don't think you will. We're way past that. So I think that's something we forget about sometimes. We got to step back and remind ourselves, I'm never going to go hungry. Like, it's a great thing to be thankful for.
Right.
Just like you said,
right.
You got to get on the phone and start cutting deals. Anton, you said the same thing.
Yeah, I just think, man, people just need to develop a sense of urgency, right? You should always, it shouldn't take an event like this to say, hey, I need to run my business better. Hey, I need to make sure my books are lean. This just be some shit you should be practicing out the jump. And we've been practicing good habits lately, and we're going to continue to practice good habits. And for the next 24 to 36 months, I'm just trying to pile up as much cash as I can.
Well, I'll tell you something else we did. We had an email come out today, had one of the girls run through the American Express bill and get all the monthly reoccurring services that we're paying for that we don't use. It was $2,300 and something a month. And, I think 2 of them, though, were a yearly subscription. I hope we hadn't been paying that every month for them. But those expenses, I mean, we're cutting down all of that because it's like, I love Audible, but I got a shitload of credits. I don't need to pay $25 a month for Audible right now. You know what I mean? Right. I got some OnStar internet in my truck that's in the shop in San Marcos that I won't go get because it's got coronavirus. So, I don't need internet in my truck right now. So we're cutting those little dollars right there. I mean, that's a whole employee salary for us out here in the country that we're going to cut out of the fat that we might not taking a look at. Like Anton said, I mean, it shouldn't take this to make us look at that, but this is why we looked at that. And we're going to have probably about $2,000 a month in expenses cut out, lickety split. And we're going to be back to the basics. Propelio, Skip Genie, some texting platforms and other things. I'm getting some,
yeah.
Okay. So it's been officially confirmed that, only HUD government loans are not going to get foreclosed on. Only the government subsidized rent is not going to be evicted. So,
yeah, correct. I read the Hill article after he said that today and said that it's stated specifically only HUD or Fannie Freddie backed mortgages would be the ones that would be saved.
The headlines trip though, man, and it goes. Look, our tenant.
They do a lot of clickbaiting.
I saw 1,000 posts instantly on that. Like, hey, don't get too happy. After this thing is done, you still got to pay your mortgage.
And I love our tenants. But they'll see that headline and they'll think, man, I got an extra $700 a month, and they'll go to Walmart and buy them a TV. Those are my people. I know. That's me. I ain't got to pay it.
I'm with you though. If he doesn't talk, we're all good. Every time he talks, it gets worse.
Just go calm down. Just sit it out. Just sit this one out. We just let it go. We're all gonna die. Maybe something. Me personally, I called a friend of mine this morning. I was like, hey, you just got back from New York, right? He's like, yeah. I'm like, did you get corona? And he's like, nah, man, it's been 2 weeks. I'm like, you sure? He's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm like, I want to come drink after you. He's like, why? And I'm like, because I want to get it right now. I want to get this shit the fuck out of the way. Like, I want this out of my life. I know they're telling me I'm going to catch it. Just let me get it now while I got it.
My wife is 99% guaranteed I had it in the middle of February. So I was sicker than I've been in my life. I had every sign too. So she said I got it.
I thought I had it in October. I was like, what? I'm looking back. I'm like, I had to go to the ear doctor. I still can't hear out of my left ear. Like, they didn't know what I had. That was corona. I hope. I don't know. They need to test me for it. They need to test if you got corona back then. Donnie, are you putting a pause on traveling, or have you changed up your lifestyle any? This is just personal.
Yeah. No, like, I mean, it's real shit, and it's kind of like what Antoine said. God's real, I believe, and it's a very humbling experience, and it's forcing me to humble myself. I just got a lease that's half the size or half the cost of my house now. Sellers were motivated. Got in there for half the cost, bigger house. So, finding creative ways, even my personal life, to, reduce expenses as much as I possibly can, sell off stuff while I can still sell it. So I could take advantage of the downfall. I have capital to do that versus, looking cool and flexing and balling. All that shit is on pause. Like it is what it is. Traveling, as far as traveling, I mean, the way I see Corona, it just seems like older people are dying off. Obviously, as long as I stay away from older people, I can still get around and move around even at a cheaper cost and be in front of a lot of people and help people. So I definitely see that as an opportunity. But yeah, I mean, all balling, flexing, flashing, cars, watches, all that is done. It's on pause. It is what it is. When you're making a bunch of money and it's coming in like clockwork, you don't think of it until you face a life crisis and you got 12 people in your face with kids and family members, worried about, do I have enough money to pay rent? Do I have enough money to feed my kids? Kind of like what you're saying. So you put all these things in a perspective and you realize a lot of these things don't really matter. It's just the well-being of an individual is what's the most important thing. And the fact of the matter is none of this shit made me happy. It's just, dumb liabilities. I mean, not even really liabilities, because I bought a lot of this shit in cash and I'm like, well, that was dumb as fuck. So, it's cool because it's kind of like parked bank accounts when I need it, but I don't have to do it, but I want to be as liquid as I possibly can so I can take advantage of a down market. I put some money into American Airlines last night, put 20 racks up there. I'm working. Anybody wants to buy a presidential Rolex, it's for sale. Gonna sell that bitch tonight. Buy some more stocks.
I got 20.
You got 20? No,
I got 21.
It's a $40,000 watch. Come on, I'll get it to you at 30. Joe, I know you want a presidential. Presidential edition. I'll keep my GMT though.
I got 5 kids. I can't buy any of that kind of stuff. I got a minivan.
Yeah. And my girl is bougie as hell, bro. And she's the one encouraging me. She's like, we don't need a $7,000 house. Let's go to a small house, stuff like that. And I'm like, coming home. I'm like, I don't even use this. I've never even been on this part of the house, like, ever.
Dude, I yesterday, this will make you laugh. I reached out to a guy. I'm driving to our little hotel / owner finance that we bought for $25,000. I see a riverboat for sale. So it's a little boat that I can put in the river, and it's got an outboard motor on it. And I'm like, oh man, Corona's got these people in a bind. So I call the guy, I'm like, how much do you want for it? He's like $1,500. I was like, oh shit, no, that's too much. He's like, well, the motor's worth at least that. I'm like, yeah, but I wasn't calling for somebody that wanted $1,500. I was hoping I was calling somebody that needed $650. Like, let me know if things change. Let me know, because I definitely want a little riverboat. I thought now was the time to buy. Maybe 2 weeks from now is the time to buy. I got $650 if you need it. So, guys,
we just locked up 2 contracts today. It's like, damn, we're getting this shit low right now.
Dude, and that's
now, like I was saying earlier, the value of the property hasn't changed. There's a lot of fear in the stock market. There's some crazy shit. Let's compare a house to a stock for a minute. Microsoft Apple still has $130 billion in cash. They still don't have a whole ton of crazy debt. They still have some of the best products in the entire market. And when the stock market goes up and down, Apple's still going to be one of the best companies that there is. Now, you might be able to get it for a good deal right now, just like you're saying American Airlines or the boat you're talking about, or that 2 contracts you locked up. They're still really good deals. You got to figure out what you can do with them maybe a little differently right now, but they're still great assets.
Yeah, I think the main thing right now is, I know me, I've talked to Corey. We've been some of the guys who've always said to make sure you have multiple tools in your toolbox, right? If you were only wholesaling or only flipping, you're going to get a little bit of hit right now. But if you've had creative ways to close deals, you're sitting good. Like, this is the time for guys that do creative stuff to go out there and do what we do. So, I mean, one thing I will say is don't be afraid that deals are going to dry up. Like, deals don't dry up when the market goes down. Deals become plentiful, right? A lot of people who can buy deals, they dry up. So if you have the tools, you know how to work a deal, you're going to be good. It's going to be a little bit we don't know what's going to happen, so there'll be some pain.
Your ability to sell them changes. Your cash buyer, your cash buyer, whether it be a rehabber or just an investor, changes a lot. But I like your seller finance, and you, Corey, too. Your seller finance model gives you a lot more buyers than the typical market will have.
This is something else we're doing. I mean, this people are out here talking about looking out for the sellers and all of this, and don't take advantage. And I'm not asking anybody to take advantage, but none of us, like Logan, you're right. The value of the real estate hasn't gone down, but the ability to attain financing might have went down, which is going to bring the value down because if less people can buy it, less people can buy it. All of these things factor in. So if the noise is out there, if it's already in the streets, like everybody's already hearing it, it's just deafening. It's so loud. And you go into a seller's house and they're like, man, I need this much cash or whatever, blah, 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 blah. If they don't need the cash right now, it's a great time to say, hey, will you give this to me on 180 equal payments? Will you seller finance me this deal? Now you got the financing built in. You can use, hey, listen, the stock market money just disappeared off the face of the earth. We don't know where that money went. We don't know where that's at. Now you can be the bank for me. It's a great opportunity to work on that skill set because if you don't have it, you don't have anything to lose by offering it. It's like me walking up to a girl at a bar and asking for a number. It's a zero-sum game. It's either yes or no, and I already didn't have her number when I walked up.
I got a 0% interest, 7-year financing deal locked up 2 days ago. 0% interest, $4,000 down. You know, we're gonna wrap it and sell it sort of financing and make a ton of money over the next 15 years, hopefully. You know, it's out there.
Johnny's got a whole squad.
We still out here. They're gonna take a fucking wrecking ball before we leave.
Dude, you better social distance though. Getting right up next to him for a selfie.
We don't get the corona. There's too much hustle in our blood. God won't allow it to happen.
That's crazy.
Why does Jorie look like Chris Rock?
Hey, Drake on the same show right now.
You sound like him too. You good? All you got to do is tell some jokes. You good? You good, G?
I can sell in any kind of weather, any kind of climate. We'll be all right.
Well, guys, I appreciate y'all's time. I appreciate y'all coming on. I'm going to try to do more of these. If y'all want to be involved in any way, let me know. If you need any help, reach out. Anton, the event, when it gets back up and going, you have a date nailed down, let me know. Let me know how I can help. The real estate, the Drake of real estate. Anything you need, reach out. Logan, I still send you all my deals that are too fucked up for me to do. You know, this is something that y'all need to think about too. Every title company you work with right now, if you got one that you work with, reach out to them, find out who the hell is getting scared and backing out and ask them for those people's phone numbers. I hate to be that kind of savage, but I'm telling you right now, we had a lady at a title company call us the other day and say, we've had 4 people walk today. These people still need to sell. What the fuck's up? And we're like, yeah, put me in touch. So anyways, yeah, that's a great lead source. If you're not doing that, we just doxed it. Everybody started getting off. So Anton, where can people find you? Logan, tell everybody, and then we'll go Jorie, Donnavan, Anton. Tell everybody where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram, CEO929. You can find me on Facebook, Antoine M. Campbell Sr.
Logan Fullmer. I'm here all over Facebook. Asset Resolution Partners. You can Google me.
And Jorie Aulston on Instagram is The Aulston Group. I'm on Facebook at Jorie Aulston. We got a podcast, Shut Up and Invest. We can find us on YouTube and all the streaming platforms.
My name is Donnavan. You can follow me on IG at the Donnavan Ruffin. It's the best way to get in contact with me, honestly. Unless you want to catch a VA or something that I'm about to lay off, then you will get.
Well, guys, I've got all your numbers, so I'll just call you. But I appreciate y'all coming on. I appreciate y'all dropping value. If you're out there, I would say that don't be scared. Now is the time to move into that fear if you are. So we'll see y'all.
All right, guys.
Appreciate you. Good to see y'all. Talk to y'all soon.